How are we, guys? It's just a little video, really, because it's hit me hard this week, and I didn't realise how bad it was until I've experienced it myself. So, going forward, it's going to be hard, right? So, I've heard that electric cars, yeah, during the winter, struggle. I'm going to find somewhere comfortable on my phone. It's going to be struggle, right, to heat the car and get good range. So I've heard about this before having an electric car, and I didn't realise the actual difference it makes, like ridiculously difference it makes, right? So it's a learning curve for me. So I've been speaking to a few of the lads in my WhatsApp group. I've got that YouTube membership WhatsApp group, who've got EV cars, and who've told me about it and explaining pros and cons and stuff like that. Now, newer electric cars are a hell of a lot better at dealing with this than older ones. So mine's 5 years old. Mine's a 2018 plate Model S. Now I think the newer, especially the European cars like the Ionics and stuff like Hyundai's and stuff like that, Kias, maybe Mercedes can deal with it better because obviously they're used to colder climates. Where I think the Teslas aren't really used to super cold climates in their markets, being in the US. I don't know. I'm not too sure how they compare manufacturer wise, but I do know the older ones who doesn't have a heat pump um, suffer most. So like mine's suffering a lot more than my mate in the Ionic 5 or my other mate in the Model 3. Um, and my other mate in the E-Nero, and he's also got a EV though. But they're suffering a lot less from me because they've got a heat pump. So a heat pump technically is an additional unit that collects the heat from the batteries. So when you're using your batteries, it produces heat, doesn't it? So this new technology over the last few years um, collects the heat off the batteries and then pumps the heat into the cabin. So it kind of you're getting like free heating, which then lets your batteries work the car, which will then obviously give you better range and stuff. Where at the moment today, I had me heating on. I had the heated seats, and I woke up at 5 this morning to work an Uber shift, and it was 1 degrees, 2 degrees. It was freezing, and yeah, I had the heating on all morning. I had the lecky, like as you do, because like even with the diesel, if you got your heating on during the winter, you'll get less mile per gallon. In the winter, a diesel technically produce less mile per gallon because obviously it's a lot colder. Probably has to work a bit harder and stuff like that. So you deal with that. But the difference is you can go to a petrol station and just top it up, can't you? Where with an electric car, it's not as easy as that. Now, I'm not worried about I'm not worried about using superchargers. I use them quite a bit when I need them. But what my thing is I need to try and prolong my electrical range as much as possible because of my cheap tariff. So just to go into a little bit of detail about that before I move on, is I get on my night tariff, I get 2p per mile, right? If I charge outside of that tariff, so like now I've just come home after my morning shift, might go back out later, I'll put on normal charge now. That'll cost me about 8p per mile, right? If you use the superchargers, anywhere from 10 to 20p per mile. So it makes a big difference on me charging. Do you know what I mean? So it's still cheaper, obviously a lot more than other cars, but obviously if possible, I want to be running on the 2p as much as possible, don't I? So I just wrote it down here as an example. At 2p per mile, my normal 220 mile range is £4.40. At 20p per mile, it's £44.40, 80, sorry. Um, so yeah, so if I can keep to me 2p per mile during my shift, it's costing me £4 instead of £44 for 220 odd mile. So that's the reason why I want to obviously looking into it and stuff. If I need to use a supercharger, I will. It doesn't bother me. Like to have a little 20-minute break, have a cup of tea or grab some dinner and I'm already charged back up. But it is more trying to maximise the saving benefit from it. So my car's an older one, so it's not that very efficient compared to newer ones like I've just mentioned with the heat pumps and stuff like that. Now, I worked this morning and I didn't even think about it. I literally jumped in. I was at 90%. And I jumped in, eating on, heated seats on. Customer got in, a bit cold, mate. Want the heated seats on? Heated seats. Got it all hot. It was swelting. I was driving around sweating. It was lovely. Like, oh, boss. And after about 3 hours, I'm down like 40%. And I was like, whoa, this can't happen, this. So then that's why obviously I thought of this video and I've been looking into it and talking to the lads and that. Now, put into perspective, right? My battery is a 70 kilowatt battery. It's 77 kilowatt, but you get about 70 usable battery, right? And then, because it's older battery again, I can only charge up to 90%. If you charge up to 100% all the time, it can cause obviously negative effects on the battery. So I charge it 100% if I know I've got a very busy day, like a couple of bookings. But normally on a day-to-day, it's 90%. Now, same reason, I don't want to drop my battery down below 10%. Same thing, can have a negative effect on the battery long term. So I've got 80% of that 70 kilowatt battery, which means I've got 56 kilowatts day-to-day battery. Yeah. Now, on average, I get 4 miles per kilowatt, right? So that gets me around 225 miles range. Normally, no problemos, right? Today, I was getting 3 miles per kilowatt. I bet you're thinking, that's not bad. That's not bad at all. 1 mile less, but 56 kilowatts. Big difference. So, normally, I get 224-mile range off a single charge. Well, it currently costs me £4.48. So today, I averaged 160 miles range. Still the same, cost me £4.48. But then if I wanted to continue working today, I've got stuff on to do today, so I couldn't work anymore anyway. I've got about 40% battery left still. But if I wanted to do a full day, I would have had to use the supercharger, which then would cost me more money per mile. So, that's a big drop in it. That's what, 60 mile. I lose 60 mile when it's cold and I've got the heating on. Now, car batteries are less efficient in the cold anyway. It's been proven. So I'm going to get less miles to a full charge as is just because it's colder. But then on top of that, I'll have the heated seats on and obviously have the heating on. Now, there's a few tips you can do which will obviously help you. Is obviously a lot of people that jump in your car, they're dressed for the bad weather. So they're in a coat, they've got fluffy hats on, fluffy gloves. So you don't really want the car being sweltering anyway. And I always dress I'm a cool person anyway, so I don't normally have the heat on generally anyway. But what I've read up and what I've looked at is your heated seats use a hell of a lot less power than the heating. So day to day, going forward now, I'm going to test it out tomorrow. I'm going to get out early again. But this time I'm not going to have the heating on at all. I'll just have it preheated through the app. But when I get in, I'll turn the heating off because it'll be plugged in, do you know what I mean? And I'll just have my heated seats on if I get a bit cold. If the customer gets in and looking cold, I'll say, do you want your heated seats on? Because I've got reheated seats to be like, yeah, go on then. And I'll do that. Because I don't want to be uncomfortable in my car. The whole point of me getting a nice car is have a nice drive and nice experience. But if I can obviously survive on 2p per mile for my full shift, but I've got to wear a hat. I'll wear a hat, you know what I mean? But this is just all early days and early testing, yeah. But by the looks of it going forward, as obviously driving your car as best and smooth as you can, as always, to prolong your range. But during the winter, if you've got heated seats, use them instead of your heating. And also I've read online that for some reason a heated steering wheel uses a hell of a lot more power than your heated seats, and I don't know why. Someone might be able to correct me who know a bit more about EVs. Also, I wanted to add any more tips, guys, below. Comment below and let me know, because I'm always learning, I'm always adapting. This channel is me sharing my knowledge and my opinions, but it doesn't always mean I'm right, and it doesn't always mean I know everything, right? So going forward, I need to prolong my 2p per mile charge. And there's going to be tips and tricks to learn that, and I'm going to obviously share them with the channel as they get on. But the main one is to obviously keep your heating off, drive chill, and obviously use your heated seats instead of your heating if and when required. That's going forward. But it shocked me, honestly, it shocked me today that the fact that I'm losing 60, 70 mile of range just because it's cold out. I was like, that was shocked. I thought you lost a bit. I was expecting 225 when it's warm, 200 when it's cold. I did not expect it to go to 160. Now, obviously, I think it won't be as bad when I don't use the heating. Do you know what I mean? But it's still shocking. I was like, I was gobsmacked. I was like, what? But yeah, going forward, guys, I think that's going to be the best option. I'm still definitely pro EV car. Just make sure you just calculate this in your calculations. So just say you can say I need 200 miles a day, yeah, on average. Just make sure that you know that those 200 miles will probably be 150 in the winter. So get a 250-mile car. Do you know what I mean? That's all you got to do. Make it aware that it doesn't go down a little bit in the winter. It goes down a lot. So then you've got to plan around that. Now, myself personally, my car, it's not enough range doing my job. It's not. 220-mile range, then it's in the winters 170. It's not enough. I'll have to use a rapid charger quite a lot. But this is all the thing about learning and not new and stuff. Like some of the Ionic 5s that like some of the lads have got now, they're hitting their 400 mile. So then 350, 400 miles. So in the winter, they'll be hitting 280, 300, which is still plenty. Do you know what I mean? So going forward, guys, if you're looking for an EV, just make sure you plan the winter losses. Now, and also if there's an optional extra, because I think the Kias have an optional extra for the heat pump, and they might charge like a grand or 1,500 quid. If you're looking at keeping that car for a while, I would definitely recommend getting one, because it will save you a lot of money in the long run, especially with obviously the range and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? And I can't believe this video has been going on for 12 minutes. I do apologise if I've chatted bubbles and not much information, but I just find it fascinating. And I was gobsmacked this morning, and I thought to myself, I'm going to have to share this, because not many people will know how much you will lose um, if you're not careful. Do you know what I mean? So just make sure you plot your loss, guys. Honestly, I was gobsmacked. Listen, apologies for doing the video for so long. Make sure, please, guys, a lot of people watching my channel are watching them and commenting, which is brilliant, and it's dead thankful for it. But you're not clicking that subscribe button. It's free to do so, so just click it for me. It doesn't cost you a penny, but it helps me massively, obviously. And obviously, I've got a brand new airport transfer company, drivermatty.com. Make sure you go and get your airport transfer booked when you're going away soon, because that'll help the lads massively. Right, guys, I'm going to go and have some dinner, go to the gym, and then go and get the kids from school. So nice one, guys. Thanks very much. Apologies for chatting absolute bubbles, and hopefully this video has helped you in any way. Thank you. See you soon.